points from a long time that I have spent in AI. My first point is that what we see today in the world of AI, people who know what they are doing with AI are astonishingly effective with AI. Recently, a friend of mine, he and I were students together at Stanford. He has a large service that he runs, open public service. That service was built by 15 people, very world-class engineers, over 9 months. Recently, he rebuilt that service entirely by himself in 14 days using one of the generative AI coding tools. So if you are counting, that is about a more than 250 times improvement in productivity. Now, he's a genius, and not everyone gets a 250 times productivity gain. But you will see that people who understand how to use AI are astonishingly effective with it. And I had a similar experience recently with a customer of mine who is a distributor of home goods. And one of their main suppliers shut down their factories in one of their countries. And they did analysis using our product, all kinds of simulation scenarios. And over a few days, they reached the decision that they need to exit that country entirely. I asked him, such a monumental decision to get out of an entire country, how long would that have taken you before? And he said easily it would have taken a year. And it would have involved heavy duty consultants and things like that. So we now have instant access to knowledge in any language, a condensation of things that we can present in any way. It is an incredible power. And yes, it is deeply disruptive to the ways that we have worked before, the way that we have done things in the past. But at the same time, and even more importantly, we can do unprecedented things with this, things that we could never do before. So this astonishing effectiveness, and Joshua referred to this as a jagged frontier, it is not uniform. Not everyone sees this. So that's my second point. Being effective with AI requires not only a knowledge of AI itself, but understanding its limitations and how to overcome those limitations. There is a huge gap between LLMs and the business users inside enterprises especially, and how to bring value to those users. And overcoming that gap is where a lot of value creating opportunity is. Bridging that gap requires delivering correct systems, trusted, verifiable, reliable systems that deliver value to people. My own company works in this area, a layer that sits above the language models and delivers value to business users while ensuring correctness and things like that. When we overcome that gap, we can deliver massive value. Mukesh Bhai talked about it just now. We can transform every existing system, legacy systems, enormous complexities inside enterprises can be removed, industries can be transformed. We can give end users wings. We can amplify them to deliver things that were not possible to do before, or in the best case, it required professionals to do this. Doing that also requires not just overcoming the limitations of AI, but also imagination to see what is not there, to see what is possible. India has all of this in great abundance. The Honorable Prime Minister has called for 1 billion entrepreneurs, people who can overcome these and deliver value using AI. And I think this is exactly what the world needs and what India has the potential for. My third point is that we not only have to master today's AI, but we have to leapfrog it. AI today has enormous limitations. I have worked in AI for the last 38 years. One of our scriptures is Bhaj Govindam. It was written by the Shankaracharya, and it has a beautiful line. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrin karane. What it means is that when you are faced with a life or death situation, the knowledge of a book does not help you. Knowledge without wisdom does not save us. That wisdom comes from living, from doing, from being in the world. AI today has plenty of limitations. Joshua mentioned hallucinations. That's one of the main issues blocking the use of AI in enterprises. But beyond hallucinations, understanding the world, understanding physical activities, um, the physical movement, this is one of the next frontiers. Safety, safety of AI, and the Honorable Prime Minister talked about this today, is an existential issue. Swarms of agents can be made to do completely reckless things, and we don't yet have ways to understand or deal with this. And Joshua Demis also talked about this. We have to solve this issue. We have to deliver AI that is safe. We have done this with nuclear power for the last 80 plus years. We can and we must do this with AI. Energy is another one of these issues. Where I live in California on Highway 101, just north of San Tomas, I drive by there every time I go to see my dad. There is a massive data center that is coming up. It's 720 megawatts. This idea that I write a prompt and these gazillion GPUs blast into existence to produce a response, and then I make a tiny change to that prompt and then I do that again, it just seems like a completely absurd idea, especially to someone who has been around AI for such a long time. I have, thanks to the Ministry of IT, Honorable Ashwini Vaishnavji, I have a colleague who has been accompanying me throughout this conference, and he told me that yesterday he walked 32,000 steps. And I asked him, "What did you eat?" And he said, "I ate 2 burgers." Shubham, if you're here, 2 burgers. You know, we normally eat 2,000 calories in a day. That's about a 100-watt light bulb, like less than one of these light bulbs. And out of that, our brain, our nervous system is maybe 15, 20 watts. That's like when your laptop is in sleep mode, it takes more power than that. So there are many zeros still to be removed from these models, and the models themselves have to be removed. So I think that there is a tremendous opportunity here. India is a country of the human potential. We have plenty of times before delivered the ability to billion plus Indians. Mukesh Bhai talked about Geo, and Sunil talked about Airtel, and how now we have billion plus Indians who have data and connectivity. And when I was young, one of my earliest childhood memories is of worry in my parents' faces around food. They used to tell stories of how there was a shortage of food. And then the Green Revolution happened, and India is now one of the largest exporters of food in one generation. So I think that when you look at the time of intelligence, it is not only an opportunity to learn about this technology, to learn to master this technology, to understand its limitations, but to leapfrog that and to build the next generation of it. And as this summit so vividly demonstrates, we can be on our way to a human revolution powered by AI, by good AI, by purposeful AI, where every one of us, a billion entrepreneurs, is not just making a living, but is making a life. Not some artificial life or some artificial general life, but our own life and the life of others. And that would be so much fun to do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Wow, wonderful introduction, and what an amazing event. I want to share 3 points from a long time that I have spent in AI. My first point is that what we see today in the world of AI People who know what they are doing with AI are astonishingly effective with AI. Recently, a friend of mine, he and I were students together at Stanford. He has a large service that he runs, open public service. That service was built by 15 people, very world-class engineers, over 9 months. Recently, he rebuilt that service entirely by himself in 14 days using one of the generative AI coding tools. So if you are counting, that is about a more than 250 times improvement in productivity. Now he's a genius and not everyone gets a 250 times productivity gain, but you will see that people who understand how to use AI are astonishingly effective with it.